This is Damien, Marie AtHope, and I'm at the first Firebrand Atheist meeting, and I'm going to read you a thing from Firebrand Atheists Unite. I am a Firebrand Atheist, roughly to be understood as an outspoken atheist, which for those who do not know is in contrast to quiet, personal atheism or atheist accommodationism. Accommodationist atheists are those who frown upon outspoken atheists or who do not believe in publicly attacking God's or religious beliefs, most especially because they think people have a right to their religious beliefs. In fact, they believe Firebrand atheism risks alienating the so-called liberal-minded or moderate religious people that they hope to garner. This, though, hinders the support and proves more of a separation. Now, this separation is not limited to just atheism and religion. This also has to do with the separation of church and state. It is a very crucial matter of public policy that we, as Firebrand atheists, should care since it affects us personally. The thought that a communist atheist, to me, I just say no. I'm a Firebrand atheist. And that is not to say that I am against others' choice of an atheist style. It is just my style, and is one that I champion vigorously. According to atheist philosopher Dan Finke, anti-accommodationism is actually pro-philosophy. Anyway, I oppose anything even religion-like, including things like atheist church. That to me just doesn't make any sense, but people can believe as they wish. Some with this accommodationist atheist approach seem to champion religious freedom, while not extending this believed equality to outspoken atheism. As I have been saying, they seem to chastise such styles. By such atheist accommodationalists many times, and thus there are those using this accommodationalism in regards to the separation of church and state itself. They actually oppose the separation because they feel it actually hurts the rights of the religious, which has been the dominance of our court to actually have religion in them. And as a Firebrand atheist, I adamantly reject such nonsense. According to such accommodationalists, the First Amendment should be read more narrowly than it has been in recent years, supporting religious freedom, not atheist. Some go as far as to argue that the First Amendment, probably of government allowing them, is actually doing nothing wrong as long as they don't make a national church. Then they are permitted to do as they wish. Once again, I reject this completely. Such accommodationist atheists may prefer to say they're only semi-accommodationalists. They're okay with sort of opposing the bad stuff of religion, just leave the rest of it alone, no matter how unreasonable it is. Accommodationalists, for example, usually look unfavorably at the label that they New Atheism, automatically seeing New Atheists as firebrands, or roughly the New Atheism as the outgrowth of something new. This thinking, though, is completely and utterly wrong. To me, accommodationalists should be considered the New Atheism. As far as I'm concerned, I'm part of the old atheism, which is largely only outspoken. Of course, atheism was and always and still is oppressed, and thus it is and can still be a fact that can get you hurt or killed. Or it will promote what I call the quiet personal atheism, not out of choice, but out of force. This is very important. They want to happily coerce us to be silent. During the early modern period, the term atheist was used as an outright insult. And it was applied actually to a broad range of people, including those that held some theological beliefs that weren't agreed to, as well as being seen as the people that were immoral or self-indulgent people. Funny how that still seems to be roughly how a lot of people view outspoken atheists. Atheistic beliefs were nothing new, and they've actually been a threat to the order of the supposed society of theology. But remember, this is nothing new. Thomas Aquinas, though, who was around from 1225 to 1274, a Roman Catholic priest, and Thomas Lord High Chancellor of England, said that religious tolerance should be extended to all but atheists. Funny how we have to still fight in the courts for rights. Now, John Locke, which is 1632 to 1704, the founder of modern notions of religious liberty, argued that atheists should not be granted full citizenship in the country of their origins. Funny how they think that we need to not fight the separation of church and state. Discrimination against atheists, both at present and historically, includes the persecution of those that identify themselves as anything other than the theology of choice. But most often, this discrimination is against atheists who reject all gods. As atheism can be derived in various ways, those discriminated against are derived in very many ways. The beginning is not such different than the past. As of 2015, it was noted that 19 countries punish apostasy or atheism. 13 of those countries, it's actually possible to be put to death for atheism. What is labeled now, again I will say, is the new atheism, is the outspoken atheism or firebrand atheism of the past, and is far from anything actually new, and I wish they would understand this. We have such thinkers, such heights that were done by Robert Ingersoll, 1833 to 1899, an American lawyer, a political leader, and also he was part of the Ordination of Disbelief in the United States in what was called the Golden Age of Free Thought. The Golden Age of Free Thought is roughly from 1875 to 1914, and it is referred to as the high watermark of free thinking in American society. Although the Golden Age of Free Thought should be more tied to 1856 and the publication of Charles Darwin's Origin of Species, as well as the push at the same time for women's suffrage. The no gods, no masters actually came out of a socialist, anarchist, female or women's suffrage, and also other political and scientific things of the time. This pushed against the social trends clashing with religious orthodoxy and caused people to start to question what was considered traditional beliefs about the world, about people, and about gods. Free thought is a philosophical position that holds that ideas and opinions should be based on science and reason and not on reactionary things to authority, tradition, religion, or ideology. Moreover, the greats of the past are not even limited to that of Ingersoll. The champion of firebrand atheism or outspoken atheism actually can be seen in Sigmund Freud, Karl Marx, David Hume, just to highlight a few. But let's address those few. Sigmund Freud, 1856 to 1939, the father of psychology, was an uncompromising out atheist who wrote in his book, The Future of an Illusion, where he described belief in God as a collective neurosis. Freud regarded God as an illusion based on inherent need for power and the father figure, which can be set aside in favor for what should be reason and science. Karl Marx, 1818 to 1883, a philosopher and revolutionary socialist who published the Communist Manifesto in 1849, is said to have a dislike for religion and gods for at least 3 reasons. First, they are irrational, as religion is a delusion and a worship that avoids recognizing reality and the worth of persons. Second, religion negates all and defines in the human being, it renders them to be submissive and more accepting of the status quo. Third, religion is hypocritical. Marx stated, "I hate all gods." And with an addition, I do not recognize man's self-consciousness as the height. I do not recognize man's self-consciousness as the highest divinity. Religion is the slight of the oppressed creature, the heart of a heartless world, and religion is the opiate to the people or masses. David Hume, 1711 to 1776, a Scottish philosopher who is best known today for his influential radical empiricism, skepticism, and naturalism. Hume asserted that certainty about anything is impossible, so we can never know for sure whether or not a God exists. However, he did not stop at that. He held that such unobservable metaphysical concepts as gods should be rejected as sophistry and illusion. But out-atheism actually doesn't even start there. It goes way further back. In fact, 2,570 years to 2,270 years ago, where the confirmation of doubting was well in swing, and atheistic thinking, mainly by Greek philosophers, but however not limited to them, were into doubting gods and doubting religion and authority. Like the old, not new atheism, the invention of gods, which should erode the thinking and belief that gods, or belief in some default, was possible. And I'm not very good at reading Greek names, but I'm going to try. Xenophontus, who lived around 2570 to 2475 years ago, is known for composing the first recorded atheistic critiques, and famously stated, "Man created gods in his own image." Also, surviving writings display a large skepticism that became more commonly expressed during the 4th century. He once said, "Humans think that gods are born and have the human's own clothes, voice, and form." And critical claims of anthropomorphic gods were common. Summarized as, if cattle and horses and lions had hands and could paint, their hands would create such as men do. They would, like humans, depict gods' shapes in their bodies, of such a sort that the form themselves would be like themselves. So a horse would make horse-like gods, and cattle would make cattle-like gods, and lions would make lions-like gods. We can see how Ethrois of Central Asia, we can see how Ethiopians of Central Eastern Africa say that their gods are snub-nosed and black. This is actually him talking back 2,500 years ago. And the Thracians of southeastern Europe say that their gods are pale and red hair. According to the story book of Civilization, a series of African pygmy tribes around 2,400 to 2,500 years ago have been identified to have no gods, no spirits, no religious beliefs. They also have no rituals that seem religious. Even burial practice by them was seen without ceremony. So atheism is nothing new, not even to people who are European. Democritus, I'm probably saying the name wrong, who lived 2,460 to 2,370 years ago, considered to be the father of modern science, possibly had some disbelief, accounting to what we would consider atheism. Around 2,430 years ago, we have Dietrich of Melos was accused by Greek courts of charges amounting to atheism, and they filed punishment, faced punishment. Around 2,399 years ago, we know Socrates was accused by Greek courts charges amounting to atheism of the gods of the city that was supposed to be acknowledged. Thus was sentenced to death. Epicurus, who lived around 2,341 to 2,070 years ago, is known for composing quite well atheist critiques. Famously stated, "Is God willing to prevent evil, but not able? Then he is not omnipotent. If he is able and not willing, then he is malevolent. If he is both able and willing, then whence cometh evil? If he is neither able or willing, then why call him God?" Again, I proudly state, I am a firebrand atheist, an out atheist like the atheists of the past. But to me, there is no right way actually to be an atheist. Atheism is done right if it is you stopping believing in gods. And it is not for everyone to have an outspoken atheism style in the world. Some places that is just not even a safe possibility. So I do not believe there is a one only worthy atheist style. I have been helped a lot in my life by atheists who were just being atheists to me as a friend, who supported me and never were willing to tell anyone else that they were an atheist. I don't think that this is a requirement, although we do need your support. If you can, and if it is safe, and you are willing and want to be an out atheist, please join us. It can be such a rewarding thing. It is better to me than doing nothing at all. We all do a lot to support each other when we do this. The cause of reality that is devoid of God's superstitions is a must. I was once asked if I was an angry atheist just because I was a firebrand atheist. I said I'm not really angry as an atheist, but as a firebrand atheist, I am outspoken with passion because lives matter. As I stated before, even in 2015, 13 countries, we could die for simply not believing in magic. We need to excite. We need to do action. We need to do change because the cause of reality is being undermined at every turn. By challenging, exposing, or insulting the inaccuracies and flawed reasoning found in faith, gods, and other outdated, untrue beliefs or methods, we are doing something good. Like all reason-motivated movements, atheism, especially for me, firebrand atheism, is a fight for freedom from the mental enslavement found in religious dogmatic propaganda. Firebrand atheism should, to me, be a welcoming community of outspoken atheists with the goal of creating new awareness, But we do this with a strong challenge free of aggression, knowing that aggression is only needed when your argument is weak. When your argument is strong, as the truth of atheism is, its power has no need for things like violence and aggression, and is only hindered by adding it. Firebrand atheists are like reality revolutionaries, and we will no longer be quiet. Why, you would ask? Because we care too damn much. Never again will we close our eyes to the harm of religion, the harm of faith, in imaginary things like gods. Humans are prone, though, to thinking errors, especially when they are uninformed and when they are limiting to themselves. When we limit to ourselves, we become simple about thinking. A simple amount of knowledge about the world without science can lead to errors. For instance, if you are sitting or standing or lying down and you do not feel motion, you would even say it's common sense to say that you are fixed in place, time, and space. Even common sense on every level would support this thinking. However, you are on a planet that is spinning on its axle, likewise spinning through the galaxy, through space, around the sun, revolving constantly. So without science understanding of this fact, common sense, limiting to ourselves, would be in error. I only want people, though, to believe what is true. I do not try to convert people or make some ploy to support atheism. I simply want you to support reality. But people have a thinking error, thinking that atheists are actually trying to promote atheism like it's some kind of thing or belief that we need to believe in. Atheism is not looking for followers. It is a conclusion that God claims have failed, that they are devoid of any supporting evidence, and they are left without supporting anything more than wishful thinking or hopes of finite beings that are too fearful of death and are wanting some sort of hope or control in this grubby place we call the world. Often this is painful, and it is much in a world that is unpleasant and dangerous in our short lives, but we do not need to appeal to falsehood. You think looking at honesty and evidence of what is available without making things up really needs to be promoted as some kind of thing? It is better for people to just believe what is true. I find a real joy in intellectual honesty without myths. So I say, Firebrand atheists should unite. We should hear the call because we are Firebrand atheists and we care. Won't you join us? Thank you.